Hi, I'm Carla Williams of Majestic Designs and Creations. It is now that wonderful time of year as we get ready to celebrate the joy of Christmas with our family and friends. As you are preparing your home to celebrate the holidays, we wanted to share with you an idea for doing something a little different with your Christmas tree. It is called the Criss Cross Ribbon. The end result is absolutely beautiful and amazing and takes your tree to the next level. So we will go through today as we decorate our tree and use the Criss Cross ribbon to show you the steps to make sure that you can have this amazing result in your home. And first I wanted to talk a little bit about placement of the home as you're doing your design and decor for the Christmas holidays, and most important is our tree. Deciding where to put the tree is critical. Most people usually put the trees in the front of their homes in a big picture window or bay window where it can be seen by your neighbors and passersby, and they can all enjoy the beauty of your tree as well. And that is great. However, you may also want to consider where is the best place for you and your family to enjoy the tree. In our home, the front windows are the living room and the dining room windows. And those are two rooms that we don't spend a lot of time in. Most of our time is in the family room, which is located in the rear of the home. So in choosing where to place our tree, we decided to use the family room because that is where we will get the most enjoyment. It does mean that it won't be seen by the neighbors, and that's okay, because it's really for our enjoyment. And if someone comes to visit us, they can share in the joy with us. So our tree has been located into the family room. It's in this corner next to two windows, so that on a sunnier day, and I didn't want the glare from the windows to affect the video, but on a sunny day, we can get the sunlight shining on the tree to make it look beautiful during the day. And then of course we have the lights at night to just make it equally as beautiful. So keeping that in mind when deciding where to place your tree, especially if this is your first year in your home and this is the first time you're deciding where do I want to put the tree. All right, so starting to decorate the tree is first lights. In putting your lights on, one of the things I do want to recommend as a tip, if you're not already doing it, is to have the light strands lit as you are putting them on the tree. Oftentimes we get the lights on first and then we plug it in, and then we see that there's not enough light in certain areas, or maybe it's too much light in other areas. By having the light strands already lit as you are putting them on the tree, it will help you to ensure that it is even and that you have sufficient lighting and that you're happy with the result once you get them on, so that you don't have to come back and untangle them and do anything over. So I already have the lights on, and I'm going to turn it on, and then we'll talk about the steps of assembling the ribbon. So just one second and I'll be back. Okay. And so now you can see that we have the lights on the tree. I'm using all white lights because our color scheme for this year is silver and white, kind of going for a winter wonderland look. And so we're just using all white lights. Although it's daylight, you can still get a good idea that there's quite a bit of lighting. It's very even because, again, we use the technique of having the light strands lit as we were putting the lights on. So from top to bottom, we have a nice even disbursement and sufficient amount of lighting. So the ribbons that we're going to use for our tree are these silver kind of sheer, and I'm going to come in a little closer so you can see the ribbon a little bit better on the video. But I'm taking these silver sheer ribbons. They are about 2.5 inches wide, I believe. And to do the crisscross ribbon on your tree, I'm going to let you know up front, it's a lot of ribbon. It's based on the height of your tree. So it's actually double the height of your tree for each strand that you'll need to make the final effect. We have a 7-foot tree, so we needed 10 strands of 14-foot ribbon. So that's 140 feet of ribbon. So I did have to go out and buy extra ribbon, but it's okay because it's worth it. The final effect will be amazing. So for each of these, you'll need to cut a 14-foot strand. And that's if you have a 7-foot tree. 6-foot tree, you'll need 12 feet of ribbon per strand. and you can do the math for other sizes of trees. So we have those already cut. I have 10 strands, 14 feet each. So the next step will be to show how we start at the top to connect them and then get ready to do the crisscross. So I will get them connected to the top, show you how that was done, and then we will be ready to move to the next step. One moment. Okay, and we're back. And we have put the ribbon strands on and attached them to the top, and in a moment I'll go up on the step ladder and show you how that's attached. But I just want to talk about the number. Initially I thought that I was going to need 10 ribbon strands in order to get around the tree, but this, as you can see, is I would describe it as a medium width tree. There are some that are more full and rounder, and I think for those you might need a total of 10. I stopped at 9. They're still pretty closely spaced. I probably could have gotten away with 8 and spaced them a little further out, but I think this will be fine. I think the spacing will be good. So I'm actually going to use 9 ribbon strands instead of 10. So when you're doing your tree, there may be some variations on the number of strands you'll need just based on the size of your tree. So just a moment, I will go to the top of the tree and just give you a close-up of how I have attached the ribbons to the top of the tree. Okay, so you can see here that I'm using floral wire. I have taken each of the strands and just kind of spaced them out around the tree. And then at the top, just took one central piece of the branch and wrapped them around and then secured them using a silver floral wire. Once I get my tree topper on there, that will be covered and you won't see this attachment or the floral wire. And because it's floral wire and it's silver in color, it really isn't going to be that visible from the ground. So no one will really see that, and again, it will be covered by the tree topper. So now that those are in place, we will begin the process of creating the crisscrosses. And one moment, and I'll be back and we'll start showing you how to do that. Okay, so now we will begin the crisscrossing. For this, I'm using floral wire and a ruler. The floral wire is silver, so it will help to disappear into the ribbon when they're there. I will also cover them up with an ornament later, but because of the coloring and it's such a small size, floral wire is really good for projects like this. So to start, you measure 12 inches down. I have a 12-inch ruler, so it makes it real easy for my measurements. Just go to the bottom of the ruler. You take the 2 ribbons that are side by side, and you will bring them together. I'm going to move my ruler out of the way. You bring those 2 side by side at the 12-inch mark. And I've got a nice little branch here in between them. And just use your floral wire to pinch them together. And I've got my cutters here next to me. I'm working on a step ladder because, as I mentioned before, it's a 7-foot tree and I'm only 5'5". So I need a little help here. Get to that. Okay, so you pinch those together. Another great thing to do might be to pre-cut those, but anyway, I would still have to hold all of those as I'm trying to work. So anyway, as you can see, I'm just going to kind of adjust as I go, so I don't have to come back and do it later. And with that little bit of extra, I can either twist it and tuck it out of the way, or come back with the wire cutters and just cut it off, which is what I've decided to do. Okay, and I will do that all the way around for each 2 that are side by side. To keep the video from being overly long, I'm not going to videotape me doing all of that. I will come back. Okay, so now I have finished the first row of the attachments for the crisscross. As I said, you went 12 inches down and you paired the 2 ribbons that were next to each other, then went around, got the next 2, paired them together, and I continued that process all the way around the tree. So that's the first row. The next step is to do the same process again, coming 12 inches down, and then you will find the next ribbon beside it, 12 inches down, and then pair them as well. And then just do the same thing all the way around the tree. And then as we go down, we continue the process. I did mention earlier that I thought that my tree being the size that it is, that I should only use 9 ribbons. I went ahead and used all 10 that I had cut because I wanted to make sure that I had an even number for pairing. And so just want to keep that in mind, that you probably need to work in even numbers. But again, it will depend on the size of your tree, the girth of it, as to how many ribbons you need. I think 10 is probably where you should start, and then decide whether you need less or more from there. But that's just the recommendation. Just a moment, I'm going to show you me putting a couple of those together, then I'll stop the video and then come back and check in a little bit later. Okay, so we have completed the top row and we're ready to start on the second row. So as we get ready to start on the second row, it's important to know which ribbons to attach to each other. So you have this set that's been started, that's been mated, and then over here you have another set that's been started and that's been mated. So you're going to attach them to each other. So you take the ribbon from this set with the ribbon from this set, go 12 inches and mate them together. So now you'll form a new diagonal. So just taking our ruler and going 12 inches from here, which puts us right here, and then starting at where we've pinched over here, coming the length of the ruler, which is 12 inches down, and we're going to mate right there. And I already have my wire ready, which is going to make things a little easier. I do try to work smarter, not harder, always. Although that doesn't always work out, but I do try. All right, so in this case, we've got a nice little tight attachment. And again, I want to adjust as I go, using my branches to kind of help everything stay in place. And then, excuse me, my trusty dusty wire cutters back here to pinch off a little bit of excess and kind of catching that with my hand. Be careful. You are going to work with floral wire as I am. You will have some little sharp little pointy edges in the back. I like to try to turn those under and just protect anyone who may be in this tree later, such as when I'm adding the ornaments or someone else is adding an ornament, that we don't poke ourselves there. And so we'll do the same thing, and I apologize for the back of my head there. We will do the same thing with the next set. So I'll just step over to this side. I think you can see me. And yeah, so we'll do the same thing. And we're not going to take this one and mate it over here because they've already made it together. Instead, we will take this one and mate it to one from the rear of the tree here. And the same thing, you measure. As much as possible, I would recommend trying to stick with measuring as opposed to eyeballing it, because if your measurements are off, you're not going to get that look that you're going for. It might be a little off or a little lopsided, and you're trying to figure out why yours doesn't look like mine. It will probably be because your measurements are off. So again, if you're using a ruler that's already 12 inches, it will make it easier. You don't have to actually really look at the ruler. You can just see when you get to the end of the ruler, you've got your 12 inches. And so now I've attached these two together, and I will continue to do this around the tree. So I think at this point you kind of have the idea of what we're doing. So I will finish this next row and then check back in with you, and we'll go from there. So a few minutes. Okay, so I have now added the Criss Cross ribbon all the way down. I'm just going to kind of show you here for a few minutes. And you can see it's a very nice pattern, very nice design. So the next step is to deal with the ends here. So you do have excess ribbon left over, which is to be expected. So what I've done is knotted it. I've done the ties at the bottom all the way around. And what I'm going to do now is come through and just take some scissors and cut that off. You may decide to cut just a little bit and have some little curly loops down if that's something that you would like visually. For me, I think I would like a very clean break at these ends. So I'm going to cut all the way around, all the excess off. And then the next thing I'm going to do, each place where we have the meeting of the ribbon, I'm going to add an ornament to cover that little tie. So I'm going to go through now, cut the excess ribbon, and then come back and start adding the ornaments to cover the intersections of the ribbons. So we'll be right back. Okay, so I've cut off the excess ribbon, and you can see it has a very nice, very clean look. I think without even one ornament on it yet, the tree already looks really fantastic just because of our Criss Cross ribbons. So yes, it's a lot of extra effort to add the ribbon, but you can see that it's really going to increase the overall look and effect of your tree, because we've already got a very, I think, beautiful tree, and we just have lights and ribbon. So imagine when we finish putting our ornaments on and our tree topper and we're done completely. You can already see we've got a great foundation to have an amazing tree this year. So now we're going to start attaching the ornaments to our intersections of our Criss Cross ribbon. I've already attached the first one, and I've decided to use pipe cleaner for this. I think it'll be a little quicker and easier than if I were to use the floral wire. And that way, if it is still visible, what you will see is a cute silver pipe cleaner versus wire. So what I'm just going to do, starting here at this level from our top group, I will just go through, and each place where we have an intersection, very simple loop through the top of the ornament. And then I'm just going to secure it with a nice couple of wraparounds to that intersection. Try to hold two at the same time, and then just kind of tuck it in and make sure that it's secure. And we're done with that one. So now I wanted to talk a little bit about the aesthetics. So for me, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to do a winter wonderland kind of theme. So it's a silver and white theme. The entire tree will be done in silver and white. So with the silver ribbon, I've decided to use both the glitter silver ornaments. I'm also going to use a white ornament that will accent it as well. And I'm going to go through and alternate them so that it'll give a little bit of a pop as well. For you, you may decide if you're doing red and gold. If you have red ribbon, you might want to do all gold ornaments, or a mixture of both, or red on red. So one of the things you would want to decide at this stage is if you're going to use the ornaments to cover up your intersections for your crisscross, what color scheme works best for your overall look. I know that some people, it's just fun. You get the kids involved and you just put up all your ornaments, and that is great if that's your family tradition. If you are going for a particular design look, then you kind of strategize along the way early on to make sure that at the end you have achieved the look that you were seeking to go for. So sticking with the Winter Wonderland theme, I'm going to be using the white and the silver ornaments to cover our intersections, and then all of the ornaments that I will add at the end will all be silver and white. I will come back when I have all of the ornaments in place, and we will talk about using picks and clips and how they can help to accentuate a tree, and when you're doing design, just really take it to that final level, kind of putting the finishing, polishing touch on your tree. So now I'm going to finish covering all the intersections and then come back. Okay, so I have finished attaching the ornaments to the crisscross intersections, and you can see how nice this is looking already. We still have to add our ornaments and our tree topper, but this is the Criss Cross Ribbon, the look. This is what we're going for, and now we just need to finish it up with all of our ornaments and our tree topper. So from here I will put all the ornaments on the tree topper and come back to discuss final design aesthetics. And now we have our finished tree. This is our Winter Wonderland Criss Cross Ribbon tree. Just come in and highlight a few things as we take a closer look. I mentioned earlier picks and clips. So as you see here, this is an example of a clip. It's just something you actually attach with a clip. I can get a shot of that here. See the clip back there. And these kinds of things, I have a few of those. We have another one here towards the bottom of the tree, and I have a third one here. These are really great fillers for empty spaces and giving some contrast to your traditional ornaments. Also using items like these reindeer, just giving some variety, some contrast to your tree, and a very professional, elegant overall look. Also have these glitter snowflakes. I have both white and silver. These are picks that I actually clipped the stems and then just attached them like you would a traditional ornament. So this gives us that overall finished look using a variety of ornaments, bulbs to give contrast in color. Of course, we have our tree topper. And just coming in a little bit more and just seeing the overall look. So this is what we were going for with our design here this year. Have accented also with some gifts that have been wrapped in the same color scheme of silver. I guess I could pull that out. So you can see we actually have the silver at the bottom, our tree skirt. Then I'm using the silver gift wrap. Just have a couple of presents under the tree so far, but keeping in line with our theme, and that way the entire look will be consistent when we finish putting the rest of the presents under the tree. And this will be this year's tree. Winter Wonderland, silver and white with the Criss Cross Ribbon. So just one moment and I will close up the video. Okay, and as we're wrapping up the video, just want to give you one last look at this gorgeous tree that has turned out as elegant and beautiful as we had hoped. I hope that this video has inspired you to try something a little different and new, such as the Criss Cross Ribbon for your tree this year. And we do hope that your tree turns out even more beautiful. If you like this video and would like to see more from Majestic Designs and Creations, please subscribe to our channel and leave me a message in the comment section and let me know what you would like to see. We do home design and decor as well as items for special occasions. So we hope to hear from you, and we will be making more videos in the future, and hope you'll join us for those as well. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a wonderful New Year. Take care.